very high paying. So
Mhm.
Netflix was like working in the league.
As I have a comp science degree, but nervous about the rigor of applying to tech jobs like Netflix or Apple.
So yeah, FANG companies. So FANG stands for Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google. So
Hmm.
FANG companies are considered the gold standard in tech, and they
Hmm.
typically pay more than everyone else. Although that's changing now. The market's a lot more competitive. To
Hmm.
answer your question, don't be nervous about it, Caesar. Be prepared.
Hmm.
So if you feel like you're not there yet, ask yourself what more do you need to learn. You know,
Hmm.
I have several good buddies, good brothers that are at Google now, doing very well, and it's just and they told me, man, the process was the hardest process ever. It's hard for everybody. Just
Hmm.
make sure you do the groundwork. You already got a leg up with a comp sci degree. Don't be nervous. There's they used to tell us, what's the difference between a hero and a coward? They're both scared,
Hmm.
but the hero will push forward in spite of the fear. The coward turns tail and runs. So
Facts.
it's you're gonna be nervous. You're gonna be afraid.
Hmm.
Ask yourself, can I be more prepared?
So tell us a little bit more about your career at Netflix. Exactly what was your title and what was your role at Netflix?
So at Netflix, I'm a product manager. So some of you may be familiar with what that is, but product
Hmm.
managers are essentially the the guys that own the product, the software product, and we're responsible for, you know, ideating it, brainstorming like what it should be, how does it drive value, responsible for bringing in the right resources to design it, to build it, study the market to understand, does it fit the market? Once it's built, go out there and sell it. So a product manager, the best definition I've heard, they're like the mini CEO for a software product. So
Okay.
that was my title. But what I was responsible for at Netflix was the Netflix SDK. So SDK is a software development kit. So
Facts.
it's basically an application that you can integrate into hardware. So the Netflix app, when you go to any device, I was responsible for 10-foot devices. So think smart TVs, streaming sticks like the Fire TV stick. Think set-top boxes, like you get
Hmm.
from your cable provider. So when you go to Netflix on those devices and select that app, it's the SDK that I was responsible for that powers that app experience. So that was my role at Netflix. When it's like say being drafted for the league, because even though I was doing very well and making great money in the Valley, Netflix was known to be the top
Mm.
dollar.
So Netflix came and got you.
They scooped me up. Yeah, they came and
Oh
got
wow.
me.
Okay.
And
Okay.
they made me an offer that I couldn't refuse, Aaron. It was like that
Okay.
Godfather
Right.
horsehead thing, you know what I'm saying? It's like I had to
Right.
take it. And it's about exposure, you know. My networking when I was out in San Francisco in the Valley, that's what led to the consulting job that led me to Thailand. And then doing that type of work put me on Netflix's radar because just I'm doing global work now. So that's kind of how that opened up.
What type of IT search did you get or recommend?
So I don't have any IT certifications.
Hmm.
So I'm not the best to recommend, although I did read a lot of the comments in the initial post, and guys are getting, AWS certs, different types of networking certs. Whatever thing you're interested in, that's where you start. Look at the certification is like your entry point to learning. But the key is it has to be your passion. Like for me, I was in media for 10 plus years before I got to net. Well, actually longer than that. I was
Hmm.
always interested in digital media. It
Hmm.
evolved to Netflix. So my point to you is certifications are, you got to think about two different types of paths. There's the tactical, and then there's the strategic. There's the short term, and there's the long term. There's no shortcuts, right? So certifications are more of a short term tactical path. Strategy is strategic, and long term would be, okay, I start out here. What's the first job that I can get with this type of certification? And what money am I looking at? With certain type of certifications now, and this is a thing, one of the brothers raised the point about, do you need a college degree or not? And I think this is the perfect question to go with that.
Mhm.
It depends on what your interests are and what you want to do. For me, I went to Georgia Tech and got a technical degree for tech, but that's not for everybody. And there's many paths outside of that. I think what's beautiful now is there's more and more opportunity for uh, training and certifications without the need to go and get a degree. For instance, Google has a whole program that's designed to give you the certification you need to come and get a job at Google. And they're saying this is in place of a 4-year degree. So think about that. And a lot of these programs are subsidized to where you may not even have to pay the full amount. And to my knowledge, they're not super expensive. So that's what I would say about that. I hope that helps you, Darius. But it's all about your interest, and look at that certification as your entry point or your field. You get this certification and you start working in that industry. You're gonna always ask yourself, write this down, guys. What else do I need to know to give me the advantage? What can I know that no one else knows? Skills, skills, skills. you know and I have a list that I wrote up last night, and I have 10 things to keep in mind.
Okay.
So my 10 things that I call the playbook. First thing, maintain a constant state of learning. Number 1, stay curious. Learn, learn, learn. Number 2, there's a short path and a long path, but no shortcuts. Tactical versus
Facts.
strategic, but you got to do the work. Number
Facts.
3, become a producer versus a consumer. Number 4, network, network, and network some more. Number 5, take risks, measured risks, and then take more. Number
Mhm. I
6,
like that.
become an expert and ride the wave. Figure out where you can become an expert. So all you guys that are getting your certs, look at that cert as your first, blue belt in the dojo. You want to get that 5-degree black belt. You know, for me in streaming and platform stuff, I'm that sensei now. But it took that. I had to go through and learn everything. Become an expert. Ride the wave. Number 7, and this is the big one. Expect the grind, not luxury. Expect the grind, not luxury. What I'm talking about, guys, is 60 hours a week minimum, right?
Mhm.
So I run a consulting business, but I'm also running a startup with my business partner. So I'm putting that 60, 65 hours in a week, best believe. And I've made money. Never stops. Expect the grind. Number 8, and I got this from my dad. It's lonely at the top. Don't
Facts.
seek company. It's lonely, fellas. You guys get to that, it's lonely. Don't seek company. Number 9, push to the next hill. Don't seek comfort. You got to be about it. Always look for that next hill. What's the next thing I need to do? And just keep, and that's how you get there. And number 10, and I think most importantly, acknowledge your shortcomings and have patience. Acknowledge your shortcomings. You've got to give yourself that grace. Hard. Don't be too hard on yourself. Everybody starts from somewhere. So acknowledge your shortcomings and have patience. And once you work back up to the top of that list, you're going to deal with those shortcomings.